up against that Spectre, but they go down the Tidehunter route.
Yeah, this seems to be a really common move in this event from the games that I've seen. Like the Spectre comes out, and then the enemy team just going for the Tidehunter. Puts on okay pressure in the lane. We've been seeing the Necro on Tide a lot, though of course we've been seeing the Necro just sort of on everybody.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know that this Tidehunter is kind of a new thing to
Yeah.
me. I've only really seen it in these China games, so I still feel like I'm kind of wrapping my head around it a little bit. But it looked good yesterday, right? It won all the games that it got played in that IG versus RNG series. So
yeah, definitely looked good yesterday for sure. We'll see if it kind of repeats that today. I mean, I believe we saw one game of Tide last series, and it did not work out very well. And that was kind of leading to my next point as well. In that game, they went for a Necro book on the Tide, and it was kind of like we were sitting there like, is this really worth it on a Tidehunter to go for a Necro book one, like on a hero like Tide? I'm kind of thinking it's probably going to happen again as well, mind you.
Yeah, I think so. It's just such a good farming item. I think you definitely want one at least on a team. Like even the aura is just pretty useful, especially when you're playing very 5-man oriented. And I think the other thing with some of these games on Tide is that it feels like if you just go for sort of the old school like pipe or mech or blink first, that your game just ends at that point. You're gonna stay around to like 6 to 8k net worth forever and just never really get any other big items. But if you get the Necrobook and and there's the space on the map, you really can get a whole lot more going, and you can start to see these like potentially kind of damage items coming out as well. So I think just the nature of the item at the moment, the Necrobook eventually ends up paying for itself.
Okay, that's fair. IG using a lot of reserve time, just really thinking about this one. In fact, I don't even know how much reserve time they started with. It seems like it's been ages since we've been waiting here for this fourth pickup, and well, they're gonna let it go down to 3 seconds, and they go for the Timber. I like this, right? Up against the Tide, up against the Dragonite, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's on paper certainly looks really good. Vici don't have any way to really move their lanes around to avoid the Timber being against their melee cores. I do think that some of the conversation probably comes back to that they need to think all the way through to what's the last pick going to be from Vici? What are we worried about? Counterpicking our Timber. How are they going to respond in terms of the laning setup and all that kind of thing? But yeah, we're super low on reserve time at this point, so
we are.
Got to make some moves.
We do, and we'll see the Kunkka being banned out now. IG. Their final ban, I believe, they're also looking to just get rid of a safe lane here for Vici Gaming. It's just a matter of what. I still think there's a lot of value for Necrophos this game, by the way, for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Necrophos game for sure.
10 seconds remaining.
Just run like the safe lane DK mid Necro, or even the other way around. It just, I don't know. It might not work, but there's definitely value. MK is the ban.
Yeah. Okay. So they're just kind of worried about more team fight, kind of annoying laning carries against their potential Timber. It might even just end up being Timber off lane. I mean, might still just see a mid laner coming out here for IG. I'm not sure how comfortable they are with the current level of catch. I don't know if they're willing to rely just on the Shaker as like the bulk of their lockdown and initiation. So, all right, they just want a little more. Just gonna go for the Storm Spirit here, but this does make their overall lineup fairly greedy. I think this is going to end up being a very different sort of Storm Spirit game from the previous one. Like Emo had to be quite active in the previous game, but he was really the position 1, and so he could have afforded to farm a little more. This time around, I think there's a bit more pressure on him to actually make these rotations and kind of control space on the map while the Spectre is farming up.
Okay. Well, the last pick AM as well is out from Vici Gaming now, so you're just going to take that Pos 1 AM this game. Whether it's going to work or not, I mean, it kind of seems good into the Timber Storm, but then it kind of... It's very situational, right? Because you're kind of hoping for that moment where Emo just runs out of mana, and you could just mana void him, or...
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got two good, pretty good mana void targets. The anti-mage pick. See, this is even beyond like whether or not I think their draft's going to win or not. This is what you got to do as the last pick team, right? You have to try and get this gotcha hero at the very end, and I think this anti-mage is really the right idea. So I still think IG have been playing better, and I think their draft here. I don't even know if I like their draft more necessarily. I might even give the draft win to Vici in this situation, but I'm still leaning kind of IG's way just because of the way that they've been playing.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, that last pick AM scares me a little bit for Invictus Gaming, but we'll see if Eurus can pull it off. That it's always one of those heroes, the AM, where you just never really know like what's gonna happen, right? He could just become a real monster.
Yeah. It could also be that it doesn't even really get to the point where the anti-mage has to be all that relevant, or like Eurus is going to have really good net worth and he's going to get a bunch of kills, but he's really just coasting.
Right.
And like DY and PYW and Yang are really doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the team. I really think that there's a lot of opportunities for the Rubik and the Disruptor if they make the right moves this game to super be in control of the the early to mid game, because on IG it's a little greedier. The Enchantress is not necessarily going to be able to roam around and gank a crazy amount, and there's going to be this window where the Shaker really just wants to be farming as well, and that whole window is space where the Rubik and the Disruptor will be able to make a lot of plays.
Okay. Well, a very early smoke out from Vici Gaming. They may just... That'll probably be a warding run, but you never really know. They might try to set up for an early first blood attempt here in this this game number 2. IG not really reciprocating the same way. Just Fly going to run up towards that top lane as the Spectre, and you have to be a little bit careful. Now I'm going to run right into him as well. He'll break the smoke, run the other way, but PYW... He won't bother going for the lift. Looks like they'll just grab the outpost, and yeah, they would have loved the kill, but what can you do?
That's stone cold, not even going for the dagger. It's just like, all right, I know I'm out. I'm fine.
I mean, you mentioned this yesterday as well, but it's kind of like, even if you died there, if you force the level 1 lift from the Rubik, it's just kind of crappy for the Rubik.
Yeah, Rubik definitely does not want to be skilling telekinesis at level 1. And we've got we're getting some squiggles being drawn here by JT. So it seems like he's not playing the mid lane, but he's just parking himself here until he sees what the laning setup is going to be, and then I guess he's then going to decide where he's headed. I don't think they've scouted anything on the side of IG, so maybe he's just wandering top currently anyway. He does take the long way around. He's kind of chasing after the creeps instead of cutting the shorter path, but that does mean that he's avoiding these Radiant Observer wards. So they're not going to know where the Timber is until he pops up past this obs right now.
Yep, and there it is. They'll know now. Yang, we'll see if he wants to switch it up here. It could be slightly rough for him, I suppose. Yang, it's definitely going to be a bit annoying for him. PYW, of course, going to start off very early on with just trying to harass JT Eren because he doesn't have the reactive armor. He is susceptible, but Kaka is just around the tree line, ready to try and help him out if necessary. He will just hold out, not wasting any mana for that Fisher.
Yeah, Kaka needs to steal 0 experience here because they don't have... Oh, it's just dead.
Goodness me.
Well... Okay, you can maybe go and take a creep or 2 of experience, Kako. Okay, he's actually gonna get the D ward on the camp. But yeah, they desperately needed to get Timbersaws level 2. They didn't even have a salve or anything. 0 regen on the Shaker, and only the 3 tangos on JT.
That was a very confident opening from JT with that skill build.
Yeah, well, I think he got. Well, I don't know if it's. I think that's pretty standard to go for the Whirling Death first in this situation, but
Okay.
he also got baited a little just by. There was a creep that was on a sliver of HP, skilled it up, really wanted that creep, and I think underestimating somewhat how much damage the Gush does early on.
Yeah, definitely does, and they do actually go for the lane swap as well now. Eurus, he makes his way up top, and well, JT, he just TP'd back up to the top lane, so they know he can't rotate any longer.
Yeah.
And, it's not going to be the matchup JT wants.
Yeah, this does feel a little reminiscent of the previous game, where IG just getting outplayed a little bit by Vici in the laning stage, and some of it coming down to just these first bloods and whatnot.
DY ends up getting Fly on the Spectre now as well, bot lane, so even the Disruptor Tidehunter lane still really working out nicely. That POS1 Spectre already having a bit of a rough start in terms of CS, and now giving away a kill, and he would have to TP back into the lane. I thought it'd be a little bit safer considering he does have Ollie there, but then again, Ollie hasn't actually opted for that second skill point yet. He's just holding on, seeing what he really wants to get.
Yeah, that is a little bit curious. I thought for sure that he would just go straight into the Impetus, start whacking him out. Yang with all these kills and whatnot does have plenty of gold to ferry a bunch more regen, so... And okay, Ollie comes over, checks out what the creep is, and does just end up deciding to go for the enchant with the ghost.
Yeah, it's fine. But I guess it's going to be enough to just force Yang back a little bit. Of course, that mid lane as well, the one we haven't really looked at, it is going to be Emo and Ori on the exact same heroes up against each other. Now, last time this was an absolute bloodbath, and as I say that, the PYW is going to show up mid again.
Yeah, it's the same thing again, right? It's like, oh, Emo's doing fine, and then PYW strikes.
Gets his
courier. Go for the courier here.
Nice. And takes the creep wave away, but that'll eventually just fix itself up as well. He's not going to be able to set up the same way as he could on the Mirana, though. Like, you've got Lift Fade Bolt on Rubik in comparison to a potential 5-second arrow. In fact, Ori...
aggroed the tower.
Yeah, he did. It was a lot of damage coming out, but he does make his way out just in the last seconds and takes the illusion rune and backs out.
At least it wasn't a regen. That would have actually been so tilting if you're Emo. You get so much free damage because of a mistake from the enemy mid laner, and then that potentially gets erased.
I don't know if Emo really has a right to complain about regen runes if it did happen.
No, that's for sure after the previous game.
So Ori, he's just gonna be back in the lane. Crazy amounts of 20.9 HP regen with the Tango active. It's pretty balanced stuff we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yang's kind of low at bottom.
He is,
Yep.
and he does die. All right. That's that Harpy Stormcrafter, the Chain Lightning. It's actually a lot of damage on a very low cooldown.
At least it doesn't have the mana pool that it once had. That was the most ridiculous thing.
That was crazy. Still, looking back up towards maybe the top lane, JT. You know, I thought he would struggle a little bit more up against this AM. It's just not the case, though. He's having a great old time so far.
Yeah, so the thing about this matchup is that you never have mana, but it's like, so what? You're just going to sit there and if AM tries to hit you, you're just going to slap him back. You're still going to get your CS. You can always pop the Soul Ring to get the Whirling Death off, or the Timber Chain to get your CS that way. So this is fine, AM also farms nicely, but does also come a point where if Timbersaw resets his mana, it can come back with the Chakram and be a nuisance.
Yeah, absolutely. To mention, he has the Mango Clarity on top of the Soul Ring ready to go just in case, and well, he lost his courier just then. PYW did snipe it, but now Kaka going to run straight into the Ruby. And both position 4s are just going to try and tell each other about themselves for a second, as 6-minute bounty. A Power Rune is going to be a regen, but Ori does deny it off in time. And I slowly start to see heroes coming into that mid lane again from Vici Gaming to try and deal with Emo, but DY is going to get spotted, and it looks like, of course, PYW was also spotted by the Earthshaker, so both of them kind of rotate back out and then rotate back in. PBR again.
Again, there's so much pressure being put mid.
Stun out, but how do you capitalize? They'll Thunder Strike. PYW not really in range to get any of his spells off, so it's just taking out the HP of Emo, almost setting up for a later kill attempt, and it looks like he's just going to run all the way back to the fountain instead.
Yeah, it's only a level 1 Fade Bolt, and Emo does have the level 6 now and a Fairy Fire, so I think if they tried to dive that tower, they would have ended up losing 1 or 2 people instead.
Yang going to go into Ollie bot lane. They have 3 heroes down there as well. Ravage has to be committed for this. He's healing himself up. Still gets lifted up. But here comes Emo. They do get Ollie. Still Emo. He's got Glimpse back. Oh, he forgot. He tried to juke out the Glimpse with the zip, but it sends him back anyway.
Yeah, well, it's not every day that you play against the Disruptor, so that does... I feel like that you get one of those every game. Where somebody just forgets that, oh, wait a second, this guy can just send me back after I TP'd in. But it shouldn't happen again. And, Kako wasn't too unhappy with that. He went and grabbed some CS on the mid lane in the meantime while the Storm Spirit was away.
That he did. So, Emo, back into the mid lane now, up against Ori once again. Ori basically has been free farming for this whole duration. Emo will be fine to just take over now. As you do also see Fly. He does have the Necro book up very early on, but I should say pretty decent timing. And there is the other Necro book coming out from Yang now, so he does go down the same route with this build. And, well, he's gonna make use of it straight away. Just farms up the Ancients, finds himself some Royal Jelly.
All right, there's a negotiation going on here. It's like, hey guys, can I have the other Royal Jelly? It's like, DK, do you really need it, man? You've got a Soul Ring, you've got the Mana Regen talent. You don't want this, right? I'll just take it.
Ollie will go down. Spectral Dagger comes out from Fly. That is literally the case, though, isn't it? Every single game.
There's like he's negotiating with his team because he's the one that has it as well. I feel like if the drop... Like, if Dragon Knight had gotten the drop, then we probably would just be seeing it on DK and Anti-Mage currently, but...
Eurus will be alright, he'll just blink away top lane. So, everyone just very, very comfortable right now to just farm up, it seems. Nobody really quite interested in trying to make any form of play yet, but we are approaching that 10-minute mark very soon. So we might see some kind of bounty rune fight going on. Probably not, though. So, Vici are more than just kind of set up for those top bounties, and IG is set up for the bottom. I guess you just keep farming, right? Like Eurus, he wants the Battle Fury on the AM more than likely. The Spectre has no reason to stop, but there are rotations now. DY, gonna get daggered up. You've got Karkar there with Ollie, but the rotations out from Vici are immediate. Still DY falling very low, but not low enough. But the Necro units will take him out. They are gonna go for Ollie as a trade, and they do get him. But if Fly's
in there,
he's really gone for this. He does eventually dagger out, but there's the Ravage. He's in the tree line, though. They can't see him. Will TP out, and they can't actually stop him from doing so.
Oh, that was really nice. They forced the Dragon Knight rotation bottom, just ends up being a 1-for-1. I think he almost kind of got the Rubik as well, would have just taken a little longer to finish him off. And this creates a lot of space on top where JT's going to go and pressure that in. PYW is going to come up and we'll hold it off with the Fade Bolt, but... Oh, all right, nice little counter spell at mid. I don't know if you caught that one.
Well, not quite, but...
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Still IG, I mean, they're in the driver's seat now. They've got that slight net worth lead, and you pointed out how freely JT's been farming on that Timber. He really has. And he's closely followed by his own cores. Fly and Emo right behind him, so it's not really as close as last game as we saw. This is much different. This could be a real concern for IG, because we know what Timbersaws do when they get this much of a free time. Like, they really become quite a menace.
Yeah, it takes a reasonably big commitment as well from Vici to kill him. Like, I think it's kind of a both supports plus maybe even like they need to bring maybe the Dragon Knight, and then the Anti-Mage needs to be there to finish it off with the the Mana Void. So JT really will be able to apply a ton of pressure and as a result make a ton of room for the Spectre at the same time. And I think this is also the kind of game where even if AM has a good time, and he's gonna get it's not having the best time with the Battle Fury currently, but even if he has a good game, the Spectre and the Storm should still be the be-all end-all of the late game.
Absolutely.
So they're on a it's not a super fast clock, but there is a little bit of a clock here.
Ori doesn't get the stun off on Emo. He does juke it out in time, and well, that was basically 4 heroes mid. In fact, make it 5 now coming in. They're gonna try and force down this tier 1 mid tower, and it's a nice play here from Vici, and it looks like there will be no real defense coming up from IG. They're just gonna have to let this go down.
This is it's pretty good. They've got the Ravage in a second, so IG I don't think really all that interested in taking a fight on there. Actually gonna go for a little bit of a sneaky kill here. 3-man smoke up with the offlaner and the 2 supports, hoping to find somebody, or specifically hoping to find Fly, who they scouted out with these illusions, but
well, they're gonna run into
seems
JT.
like he's wise to it.
JT gonna chain straight into them. They lift him up. Chakram there from PYW, and with the Static Storm, he can't do much, but he's still alive. They have to commit the Ravage as well. They do get the kill.
Did they really need
The
to
Ravage?
that? I guess they were just worried. Like, the Mana Void wasn't really going to do anything. He still had the vast majority of his mana pool. But it was kind of what I was talking about, right? It's going to take both supports plus a reasonable commitment from the cores to kill off the Timbersaw. Still nice that they do it. They're going to get some more pressure on top, but looks like it will just end up being a trade. Fly with his Necrobook ready down at bottom, looking for the tier 1.
They'll just slowly get it done. It still just seems to favor IG. Like, you got the Timber kill, which is all... It feels really nice, but now you look at that Earthshaker. 13.5 minute blink coming out for Kaka. So, that's kind of the least of your problems. Everyone else is just still farming too damn good. Like, you've got Ori there on the DK who's having a great old time as well, but it's a DK, right? Like, it's... Does it really translate as well? We'll find out soon. Yang, he jumps into the mid lane trying to defend. JT's going to be there to kind of punish him a little bit. They'll still chakra him again on the Rubik.
I don't know if this blink is being scattered just yet. Ori's looking for him, though.
Now, Ori does get the stun off. Now Emo going to zip forward onto Yang. He gets caught in the Static Storm, however. Horn's going to be there from Fly. Lift up now as well. Emo, he barely managed to zip away, but it's not a great fight for IG. In fact, JT's been left behind, and he's going to go down. It's a real disaster here in the mid lane. Just, you lose that ES straight off the bat, and then you lose JT as well.
Yeah, the blink reveal kind of getting countered a little bit by the Shadow Blade reveal. And I think the Shaker may have been spotted on this high ground Radiant Obs moving into position at mid. So he thought that, like, there's no way that they expect this. I've keeping my Blink Dagger hidden this entire time. They even got a little lucky. I think the only reason that Emo survives is, once again, he had a regen rune bottled. So he was about to tick out to the Corrosive Breath, but he zipped and then he popped the regen during the zip to regain some HP, and ended up surviving as a result. But
they still seem to want to fight, though. They have the Echo up with that blink again, and they're going to find Ori. There's the Echo coming through. No wasting time this time around. Ori rather, trying to use that Shadow Blade, but the Sentry Ward was already placed. And it's back to the mid lane, it seems, for the side of IG. They just really want that mid tier 1 tower.
Like, this is the play that was supposed to happen. We were supposed to get a kill with our Echo Slam, and we were supposed to take the mid tier 1 tower. And by God, they're gonna get it.
They will eventually. And that'll basically just trade out the towers a little bit. You still have a 1 tower advantage there for IG, since they did take the top one, but I guess those ones don't really matter that much anyway, so... Vici Gaming, looks like they want to try and go hunt down Fly, unaware that he's been lifted up right now, and Static Storm's going to come down, and Eurus should have plenty of damage to finish this off, and he does. The Mana Void again going to be the one to tick him out. They'll TP more up. Ori getting jumped here, but they have so many teammates. Emo gets blown up straight away. Glimpse back. Oh, Ollie's going to be caught.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Got no Fisher there on Kaka. He can't really help out here, so Ollie just going to die very easily. And that actually gives the Battle Fury over to Eurus.
And they are making excellent use of this Dragonite Shadow Blade.
That they are.
Yeah. And you know they've got some good deep wards as well, which is providing them the vision to get these jumps. But Vici using their timings pretty nicely, and the game's only really getting started for them. Now that Eurus is starting to get his farm going, and they've opened up the map a little bit more towards that end.
It's a concern here for IG. Seems like they kind of need to slow this game down a little bit on their end of things, and well, the last couple engagements as well just feels like Emo's constantly being caught in that static storm every single time. And you know, I was saying 5 minutes ago it wasn't like game 1, but now look at his net worth. He's dropped so far down. He's almost back to the same position he was in game 1. In fact, top lane.
Same place.
Yeah, you can't just die in the same place like that. It's JT. He's going to jump in after DY. Chains. It's a lot of damage on DY, but there's help again. Eurus, he's going to jump in afterwards. Now, oh, the Echo not going to be there from Kaka. The Static Storm was there in time. They're still going after the AM. Eurus is going to die regardless. Now the Dust Up trying to find Ori, but instead, PYW gets JT on the Timbersaw with his own Whirling Death. And he'll go for the TP play out, but Kaka will cancel. And it will end up being a 2-for-2 trade.
Digging up a bounty rune as well for Emo out there, but I thought when the Static Storm came out that was going to be really what Vici needed in that fight, but alright, AM is still really not very ready to participate, and it really stings losing him like that. Because that's a lot of lost farm, especially given that he's only just gotten this Battle Fury picked up. So a couple of cores across the board not having the best of times. I think we would expect the Anti-Mage and the Storm Spirit to be a little bit higher up.
Absolutely.
Kind of hard to say exactly where the next play is. There is a Ravage in a second for Yang. So they might try and make a little bit of a play around that. They've also got the Elder Dragon form in 25 seconds. So maybe another go with the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, why not? Yang does know that Fly is down at the bot lane as well, so you know exactly where your main target is. Bounty is going to be placed though on the Earthshaker now, and TP's down bot. DY and PYW going to join Eurus. Sure what the game plan is here. They're just soaking XP off the AM, and okay, DY wants to smoke. So they are intending to bring Eurus with them again. Thought they might just leave him to farm for a while, but judging by how he's moving, I'm guessing he's coming.
Yeah, let the poor man just get his get his Mantha. Maybe he was just coming over here to grab this Ring of Aquila quickly. Well,
okay,
we'll see.
This has given time now for Fly to have the diffusal up.
Radiant's bottom
The Spectre.
is under attack.
DY's gonna have to try and figure out like the one spot in this dire jungle where there isn't a sentry ward. IG invested a lot of money just to completely clear out like every single spot.
He's having a gander. That is pretty damn good. I believe it's nothing catches.
I think that one might stick around for a little while. We'll have to see.
Still, the IG side of things, they're not really hanging around that area anyway right now. They're going to try and force in that bottom tier 2 tower a little bit. They have a nice Alpha Wolf there, coming compliments of Ollie. Will help the cause a little bit, and they're going to be able to get it fairly easily. And, well, mid lane, Fly getting caught out again in that Static Storm. A glimpse onto the Earthshaker as well, so Kaka won't even be around, and they do kill off Fly. JT now going to pop up. Who do you go after though? Emo will zip in after DY. Get rid of that Disruptor. DY still alive, however, but does finally drop, and now they want to go after Yang, and they do blow him up. And in fact, Fly brought back, and there's the Echo coming out. It only connects on Ori, but it doesn't matter. They just want any kill they can get, and they will get him. In fact, PYW did almost go down as well on the Rubik, but he did manage to TP out in time. But with that buyback, they are going straight towards the Roshan pit.
Yeah, if they can get this is going to be really big. Great use of the buyback in that situation. And I don't know, even if Vici, even if they've got their heroes back up, they're missing a couple of key ultimates for a little while, especially on the Tide and the Disruptor. So yeah, might just have to let this one go.
That they will. And that'll get Emo a little bit closer now. In fact, never mind. He has the Bloodstone. He's going for an Orchid next. He had the Ags queued up initially, but now wants to just go straight for that Orchid. Mind you, he must assume Eurus is going into the Manta.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty useful this game. The Orchid's going to let him solo kill the supports pretty much completely for free. I don't think they're going for anything just yet to kind of counterplay against it. There's no Glimmer Capes or even Ghost Scepters or anything coming out. And it gives them the chance of killing the Anti-Mage if they see the Manta getting popped, or they can force it out in some other way.
Eurus, he
They're
just
smoking
blinked.
here.
Yeah, they're zipping in with the Fisher setup from Kaka, and Eurus, you don't want to die like that, but he thought he was in a safe place to farm. Still, the rest of his team have smoked and came in. Emo going to use his own Shadow Amulet. Or somebody is, and well, he zips in onto PYW, but that wasn't the play either. He does have the Aegis, however. But PYW zipping away with that stolen zip from the Storm. Static Storm? No, not going to be there in time. DY, he's going to die in the end, not actually going onto that Storm Spirit. Now Ori going to get caught out. He can't really TP out of this one, and probably will just die. So, in fact, Yang's still around? I thought he'd left. Alright. So, a 4-for-nothing trade.
I don't know why Vici are even thinking about that fight. Like, the only thing in this game that keeps the Timber and the Storm even a little bit in check from just, expending their entire mana pool in a fight is the threat of the Anti-Mage. And as soon as the AM is off the table, they can just, both go and do whatever they want. Of course, maybe it would have been a different fight if DY had been able to approach it from a different angle, and maybe he gets the Static Storm off in a more useful way, but was not the case there. And it feels kind of similar to this like Beastmaster fight over here in the previous game, where I just feel like Vici have no business fighting, but they're kind of forcing it anyway, and this time around they get punished way more for deciding to do that.
It just doesn't... It doesn't sit well, right? Like, the AM's just falling so far behind now. Not far behind, but it's just the amount of net worth he should have had by this point. It's been nullified so much. Well, there's that Manta finally coming up, but he is certainly feeling like he could have had more. As bot lane, they do catch out JT. Whirling Death going to be there again to help out, and JT should not survive, but he does pop the Bloodstone active, but can't get the chain away. And now Ollie, he showed up to try and help, but he's probably also going to die. Eventually. Does go down.
Yeah, it didn't... Maybe wasn't communicated, or just didn't realize that the Rubik had Ball Lightning stolen, so... Kind of got caught off guard a little bit by that. Was probably expecting to be quite safe with like, oh, I can always make the Timber Chain Yules play, where you can like as the Timber Chain flies out, Yules yourself, and then the chain will pull you out of the Yules, so it's very, very difficult to do anything about, but you bring him down and get back on the board a little bit. But yeah, like you were saying before, AM really should be kind of a bit further ahead of where he currently is, and even feeling pressured into going back for a BKB here. So,
well,
respecting the damage potential of the Timber, and also just the lockdown coming from the Shaker and the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, it's going to pay off. Like, you do have so many things that can lock him down. Did feel like he kind of needed it. He has been rather aggressive with his blinks as well. So, should pay off. You've also got the BKB now coming out on Ori, and that's someone we haven't really talked about too much recently, but he's slowly but surely made his way to that item, and it looks like they want to try and smoke and try to get that BKB reveal going that way. But Ori, no, he's going to reveal it. He shows up to the creeps. DY won't even bother popping the smoke. He'll just let him keep farming up. Still, Kaka now has the Shadow Blade as well, right? So you've got a much harder time of knowing where Kaka is in these next team fights, and well, those next team fights might be soon. JT almost looked like he was trying to bait them in.
And Emo seeing the...
Emo zipping in with his own BKB now. Static Storm drop, but it means nothing with that BKB. Now, Haunting from Fly. Echo being committed as well. It's just on to the DK. They want to burst down Ori. He does use his 10-second charge, but they have dust to go through the Invis. They'll chase him down. Chains out from JT. Ravage does get committed. It only connects on JT himself. And, well, he does get mana voided, so it may have been worthwhile. Fly still trying to move in. Emo waiting for the perfect moment. Yang is taking a lot of damage, but Emo will eventually just go back onto Ori. And Ori again just going invis with a Glimmer Cape this time around. Do they have the damage? Not quite. A Fisher comes out now from PYW. He will save the day. Yang does get Emo and Kaka also going down. And now Fly also losing his life. Oh no!
The Fisher and all the damage reduction. They just couldn't kill him. the anchor smash, and then he got the breathe fire out, and all of a sudden he just became completely unkillable. Oh man.
Oh, that was
awesome.
Just it was. I've never seen that. That's
yeah.
Fisher.
I don't even know. I don't think the Fade Bolt got off.
No.
Got off either. But if they had all of that stacked up, your auto attacks don't do anything. At that point.
And suddenly Vici Gaming can go high ground. There.
Yep.
All right. That's where we are now, I guess. It's just they'll take a tier 3 tower. The IG will do their best to defend the racks if they can, but there's going to be a lift up. Another Fisher coming out now. Kaka doesn't have Echo, so he can't really commit to this fight. Ollie will die. Now with that Static Storm, could they get JT? He'll chain out, but it glimpses back straight away, and JT is probably just dead. In fact, Emo zips in, but it is too late. That Rax is gone.
Oh man. And then, like, there's still a tier 2 mid, there's still a tier 1 bottom.
Just
but you lose a huge fight like that, and suddenly game just got a lot harder for IG. Fortunately for them, Roshan's still down for at least another 45 seconds. But that is so much progress for the anti-mage in the last little bit. Like he only kind of just got the BKB a little bit ago, and he's already quite close to a basher.
Kaka breaks the smoke. Dust won't reach him. Get away. Things are very, very volatile for the side of IG now. And I'm kind of curious. What's Dota Plus saying? Well, they are agreeing with Vici's decision making right now. They have skyrocketed in terms of win percentage. It's basically 50% before that last engagement happened. And now, going to go after that tier 2 mid. Side of Vici, they just back off. They're just not really too interested in forcing anything, though. Kaka, Echo by himself, and now Emo will zip in with the horn. Whoa. All right, Eurus just disappeared. Now Fly haunting it again onto Yang. They won't be able to go after him as Emo was a bit low on mana, but there is still potential to just blow up that POS 1 AM.
Yeah, Kaka's on, he's on anti-mage hunting duty this game. He's also managed to pick up a Shadow Blade on his Earthshaker, so that's 100% his job, and could have ended up being a very big pickoff, but unfortunately for them, it's kind of a late Roshan respawn, so they will be able to just get their AM back kind of for free.
Oh, IG waiting for that Roshan. It's going to be a minute and 50 seconds, so they'll smoke up. How do you go up this high ground, though? Fly pops the Necro Book. They spot it out straight away. JT also just chaining up, and the smoke's going to lead to nothing. Unfortunately for them as well, they still don't have a Roshan to go back to. It's still going to be another minute 25 away. Scan comes out at least from Vici Gaming, but not really going to mean anything.
No, they're just making sure. They don't have any information on whether or not the Roshan has actually spawned, so just scanning to make sure what's going on. And that is kind of the other advantage that they've got here, kind of having this this top racks off of the still slight mistakes from IG. that there's always going to be that constant information flowing in, because if IG are off map for too long, eventually someone is going to have to come over here and deal with this. For now, Vici can just try and finish their next item on the anti-mage and get ready for the potential next Roshan fight. They have also picked up a full Silver Edge on the Dragon Knight, so it's pretty useful. I don't even know if I like the decision that much here. Like, I feel like they have enough damage to kill the Spectre anyway, and it's not really that useful against Timber when it ultimately comes down to it.
Zip in, Emo, he's trying, Haunt is there, they go straight after PYW. Static Storm drop, but Emo has the BKB, PYW is still alive, he does eventually die. Now the Ravage comes out, it connects on 2. They'll go after Ollie first, and they do get the Enchantress, and now JT looks like he wants to just try and disengage. Just keep chaining away. Does get stunned up, and Glimpse back as well on top. Still has the chain, can keep going. Also has the Bloodstone active to delay things out, and another stun comes out, but he's buying a lot of time, and Karka still has that Echo Slam. Emo's got full mana now as well. He's making his way back into this team fight. They could actually turn this around if they're not careful, and there's the Echo! Karka jumps in, and Emo! He zips in as well, Eurus! He gets blown up! Uh-oh. Karka, he will die, but it's for a great cause, and Yang maybe does turn around, get JT, or maybe not. They do finally kill him, but Yang will die in the process. Now Karka buys back. He wants to rejoin this team fight. They'll go after the DK now. Ori, he's going to be in trouble as well, and he does die. And DY is just going to try TP out, and he will make it.
The absolute savior of that team fight is Oli, because he was positioning himself such that, like, right as the anti-mage came in and was about to mono-void the 0-mana Storm Spirit, he Glimmer Caped him and he just walked away. And that lets Emo get all the way back to base. He gets full mana back. They can make that play at mid. They'd already scouted the Roshan with the Courier. So they knew that they could just commit super hard to that fight with buybacks and whatnot. And if they won it, then Roshan would be the prize. But such a nice play from Oli. I said earlier, like, oh, the Enchantress is just this laning hero, right? It doesn't really... They've got the Shaker to fall back on later on. What does it really matter? But, you know, Oli with the items and some good positioning, really winning that fight for his team in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this game is... it's closer than we think, right? Like, it's... This game could go either way right now between these two. Eurus wasn't really expecting that one. That was... Poor old Eurus, he just gets blown up as soon as Karka jumps on top. It's just a very hard AM game, it seems, for Eurus. Especially once that BKB's worn off. Now we'll see what the next game plan is here from IG. They're just posturing around the southern end of the river.
Yeah, he's the anti-mage is still relatively squishy overall. The BKB is nice if you manage to get it off, but other than that, you're not gonna have. It doesn't have a ton of HP, and as we've seen, just one initiating stun from Kaka is kind of enough to follow up and bring him down. We haven't had too many situations from Vici where they've been able to, like, you know, kind of have the anti-mage be in there and then be ready to cover him with the Static Storm or the Ravage. If he ever seriously gets initiated on, and a lot of that is just coming down to the decision making from IG. You know, only going for the right fights, and they've also always got the, you know, the Timbersaw was really the one setting up that previous fight, just running around, dragging them around in circles, buying time. And Vici trying to make maybe a somewhat unexpected play here, given that IG do have the Aegis, but and there's now a butterfly on this Spectre as well.
It's a scary fight to take. They're not going to go for it. They think better of it. Not yet anyway. However, look at Karka. They got a regen rune on Emo. Karka's in that Shadow Blade. But nobody's going to be around. Oh, he's got regen and double damage.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just he's having a great series. Oh, wait, what did they haunt for there?
I think they wanted to try and use those runes on Emo while they still had time.
Maybe they were just hoping that, like, okay, if we pop Haunt and Anti-Mage just happens to be farming like the Tri-Camp area or just anywhere within like this circle, then Storm's just gonna go on him. Like that might be the call that was being made, but Vici were playing ultra defensive, just all grouped up as 5 right next to their base. Big zip!
It is a big zip, DY. We'll survive that. And Emo just gonna TP out of there. I'm not sure what that was about, but it looks like he maybe thought he could zip in on DY and just secure a kill, but it just didn't have enough damage.
I mean, he still had the regen for a little bit. We do have some more neutral items coming out right this second, so keep our eyes peeled for any big tier 4 items coming through.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's actually taking the magic lamp for himself.
Is that a good item? I've always thought it's kind of meh.
I don't think it's very good, but it might be all right in this situation. And he also didn't really have anything great before this point. I think he was just rocking the Nether Shawl a second ago, so
okay.
He's probably hoping for something a little better, but for now, Magic Lamp is probably just fine. You know, might even keep him alive in a clutch situation here. And it does mean that the Storm Spirit has 3k HP now. You know, the passive is maybe not so useful, but the plus 400 HP is definitely going to come in handy.
That's true. Yang gonna back off after that tier 1 tower.
Oh, they've got Haunt in 10.
It's dangerous.
Positioning himself.
Gonna back off now. Yang, he's just been slowed up consistently though. He's trying to get out of there. Zip in, Emo pops the BKB, Static Storm dropped as well, but Emo doesn't care. Back onto that Disruptor, or is it Eurus? It was Eurus! The AM's about to die, but he blinks out of there. PYW will be the one to go down. He'll buy back immediately as Yang does still hold the Ravage, looking for that perfect moment. He still waits. Perhaps just kiting them back towards his own base. Fish around, just blocking the way. There's the Ravage, connecting on 3 heroes, and now they turn back around onto JT. Burst him down, Kaka in with the Echo, but it's not that big. It gets through a decent chunk of the HP, and now the follow-up from PYW. He stole the Echo. It doesn't do that much, but it does enough. Emo will die, and now I heard an Aegis expiring. An Ultra kill for Ori, but that's where it will stay as Eurus does take the final kill.
Oh no.
Yeah, the Aegis expired.
The Aegis got reclaimed in the middle of the team fight.
Oh. The classic.
Oh,
You hate to see it.
Man, IG, like, the only times that anything has gone wrong for them this game, it's when their aggression has kind of been their undoing, right? Thinking that, oh, okay, we can still just get this kill on the Dragon Knight over here. No, this fight lost them a lane of racks, and now this chase over here might even just lose them the game at this point. Vici marching straight down the mid lane.
I think you would probably call this a loss. Like, you still have that tier 2 tower down at the bot lane, so you can't really get megas, but
I mean, they're already putting the repair kit on the tier 4. They're like...
I can't quite blame them, but Vici came in, they're playing this safely. Going for that mid racks. 1 racks at a time. That's all they're gonna get.
Really just gonna settle for.
Apparently.
All right, I guess they have to. They're trying for the regoose. They got the double wards in. They're sending in Ori first.
I like it, but you probably don't want to start the fight on JT again. Like they'll just let it go. JT will be fine. They still have 1 Raxa remaining or 1 tier 2 tower remaining. So there is still safety in that. We've seen them turn this game before IG. We'll see if they can do it again. Eurus has gone to that point where he's getting kind of ridiculous on the AM, but you know, it's kind of ridiculous and kind of not. Like, if he gets caught without his BKB active, just gets blown up anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like we saw in the last fight, he can still certainly die. If he's getting chain stunned. The other thing I was thinking about, and I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replay because I'm not certain, but I was wondering if the magic lamp maybe screwed over Emo in that fight. Like maybe he was about to die with the Aegis, and then the lamp keeping. I don't think it happened, but it would have been kind of hilarious if it did.
Right.
So he's rocking the flicker now.
I like it.
And
what am I?
Maybe getting rid of the cursed item.
I like Flicker. It's a tier 4 item, right? It's just like that.
Yeah.
That movement speed bonus is kind of broken, in a weird way. It's
Yeah. The spell is, I think, also can be super useful. Ori looking to initiate here.
He will go onto the Timber, but Haunt is going to be in. They'll get vision of the enemy. Chains forward from JT, Haunt in as well from Fly, but again, Vici Gaming just disengage, smoke up, and walk away. And that'll be it. They just disengage.
They can't quite make the same play that they've been making this entire time, where they pop the Haunt and then Emo is able to go in and kind of get the guaranteed kill for them with this BKB. Since we do have these multiple Glimmer Capes, we've got a Force Staff. There's a lot of nice defensive tools now for Vici. So I still think that this game might be winnable for IG, but it's a real uphill battle from this point. It's just going to be so hard to ever contest a Roshan again with 2 lanes of Rax down.
It's going to be tough, that's for sure. I'd agree that it's definitely contestable, this game, but I'll see if they can make it happen. It's a tough one. Still both teams trying to set up for the Roshan already. Vici Gaming, of course, in the pit waiting. They have got 45 seconds to wait, however. And, well, that'll give time for IG to get prepared for this Roshan attempt. And it's funny to see as well, nobody on the map has buyback right now. Literally no one.
Man, IG are running, I think they're running low on sentries, and that might actually just end up costing them the game, because they're sitting right on top of a Radiant Observer Ward currently. There's still 2 Radiant Obs inside of their base, and that little bit of a vision advantage, especially now that they've got the Abyssal Blade up on the Anti-Mage, that could just, if they get the jump on the right hero, especially Kaka dying, that could just end the game right on the spot.
Blink in. They did find one. It is going to be the Enchantress Ollie going to walk away. Meanwhile, Ori trying to go after JT on the Timber. He is falling low. Emo will jump in. There's the Ravage. Back onto PYW, it seems, but the Glimmer Cape going to save. No, the dust is there, so PYW dies. No buyback. JT somehow still alive throughout all this damage, but he does finally die. Fly trying to fight back now, but who do you go after? Everyone just seems too tanky. They'll start with DY first. The Disruptor will die, but they'll lose Ollie in the process, and now Fly probably going to lose his life, and does. And that may just be it. Emo is... I guess he just has to split the creep waves now and just trying to not allow them into his base, but he's got to be wary that the Roshan is happening.
Oh, unless we get some... unless the Courier works some magic here. Let's go with the shield. They're seeing it. They got to be careful with the cleave.
Can Ollie do it? Ori's having a look around. Zip in, Emo. It's just for vision, it seems. Emo wants to take it himself. Another courier coming in. Bring them all in. There's the Spectre Courier.
Let's see it.
You don't have a hero, use the damn donkey. The Roshan still getting very, very low. More couriers coming in now. That's
another Radiant Couriers are scouting the Dire Couriers.
Emo, Abyssal Blade comes out. They caught the storm and they blow him up. He does have buyback, but do you want to commit it? Do you want to call it? I'm not 100% sure what the game plan is here from IG.
Couriers. All right, Ori. There's no fun to be had. He's stamping out the last little bit. He wants game 3.
I don't blame him. Refresher Shard now on Yang as well, I believe. So you've got that double Ravage up. It's going to be a bit scary to play into. And, we might see one more team fight, assuming Eurus doesn't try to finish the game before that. I don't believe he should have enough time, but he may assume that the Storm doesn't have buyback right now. Oh, he's still being quite cautious. Waits for his team. Solar Crest there. He'll start getting through it. Emo holding the buyback for now, waiting for Fly it seems, and they'll glyph up the towers. Repair kit's not really going to help too much here. There's that buyback. They zip in straight away with the Horde. Who are they jumping? They tried to go for PYW, but the Abyssal saving his life again, but still Emo going again. There's that first Ravage being committed. They want JT dead on the Timber, and he will go down. Can't buy back. And, well, IG found nothing. I believe the game's over now.
Yeah, Firefly and Emo spent the whole fight trying to kill the supports in the back lines, and like PYW survived long enough to steal the ball lightning, and then he just zipped away, so.
Zip in again. You've still got the Echo Slam. I suppose you can make something happen here. There's a lot of creeps around that Ancient right now. You may as well. Eurus is right next to them, but with the Aegis there, it's probably no point. They'll let the Ancient go down, and then they'll call the GG. And so that will mean we get to go to a game number 3. For our final game of the night between Vici Gaming and Invictus Game.
I think that one really stings for IG because I really think that they're just kind of the victims of their own mistakes. I have to give Vici a lot of credit for capitalizing on those mistakes, and really cementing the lead solidly after some not so well executed chases from IG. And it's going to give them a lot of momentum going into this next game, and so much better with the drafting this time around as well, needs to be said, right? They used that last pick perfectly with the anti-mage.
I agree. I think they did really well, and we'll see if they can repeat this performance in game number 3. It is MLP Dota, and it is, of course, the lovely Basskip, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes for that third game of the night.